Welcome back from that feature on restructuring the Nigerian export value change. And to talk deeper into this is that expert in the field. And I'm talking about our very own engineer Abayomi Onosanya, Global Director, Africa House. You're welcome to the studio,
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you again.
Thank you so much.
So we're looking at restructuring the Nigerian export value chain. So what measures can be taken to improve the quality and standard of the Nigerian export products?
Well, again, thank you for having me. Nigeria, as we all know, we're blessed in different sectors of the economy, and export is vital to our growth as a nation. And in order for us to reach that particular pinnacle of excellent exports, we need to restructure the value chain in terms of the quality of the produce that we export to the rest of the world, and in terms of capacity development for the potential exporters, because as we stand right now as a nation, we do not have enough exporters because enough is not being done in terms of advocacy, and the process and the value chain has a lot of missing links, so to say. So we will talk about that today as we progress.
So what you're saying is we have to change the packaging, and then talking about the quantity,
well,
quality.
Yes, both. That's true. But the one thing that I want us to understand first and foremost is that our export as Nigeria over the last 2-3 years has been roving around $60 to $69 billion, and which is abysmally low. And our potential is actually about $1 trillion. You see, if we look at it properly. And why we're doing such a meager amount of export is because we're focusing too much on crude oil and oil and gas. And our non-export non-oil export is like less than 10% of that value, of that 69 billion. And in order for us to reach that 1 trillion mark, we need to get a lot of people involved in export, because we have a lot of SMEs in Nigeria doing fantastic things. But the problem is, for them to get into this export sphere, number one is scary, and number two, there's so many obstacles in their way in terms of policy, in terms of regulation, and in terms of so many things that would just make you feel, it will get you depressed if you want to go into export. That's the reality. And those things, we have to address those issues. And if time permits us today, we would talk extensively about those obstacles that is preventing an average Nigerian like you and I from exporting.
Okay. So are there specific sectors within the Nigerian economy that should be prioritized to export value chain?
Well, we've been made to believe that Africa or Nigeria can only do well in the agro-commodities sector, which is not true.
Okay.
Yes, we do have a lot of things that we can offer the world, and unfortunately, we focus too much on very few products like cashew, ginger, sesame, and of recently, people are talking about hibiscus and other things. But we have so much more as a nation. Why aren't we looking at the finished products export? Because the truth is, if you are making 1 naira from raw exports, you can make 10 naira from the processed version of the product. And cashew is a very good example. We export most of our cashew in the raw format. But if cashew is being processed and packaged, you can target premium markets. And our problem has always been, we believe that we can only sell to certain nations, and then all our cashew goes to 89% of our cashew, to be specific, goes to only Vietnam. Another maybe 10-12% goes to India, and then the other percentage goes to China. Says who? Exactly. And these so-called nations, these people, they reprocess our raw cashew, and then they export in finished products to the West. Why aren't we exporting to the US, to Europe, to the Middle East, where we know this is a huge market for our products, and so many other things that we can do? I'll give an example. Yesterday I was in Kubwa, because I like to move around. I don't believe in sitting in the office and talking policies. I get my fingers dirty, I get my boots dirty. So I was doing my market survey yesterday, and I went to Kubwa, and I saw this lady selling manufacturing banga, which is palm oil. A packaging, everything excellent. I began to ask myself, why is she exporting? But if you ask her, she'll tell you, number one, I have a roadblock when it comes to NAFDAC. And then not only that, when it comes to customs, when I get the taxation by the local council areas or local governments and whatnot. So for her, she believes that export is something I can't even dare go into. And it's only for certain categories of businesses and whatnot, which is not true. Around the world, large economies like America and those big economies we look at, their export is being driven by the middle class, by the small and medium enterprises. Small businesses, those are the ones who pull in those billions and billions of dollars in export revenue. But in Nigeria, we focus too much on oil, and we need to let the people know that we need to encourage millions of Nigerian SMEs to export. Like, let's use the Bengali as an example.
Yeah.
If she wants to say, okay, I want to export my banga, and by the way, there's a huge market for that banga or palm oil in the West. Huge market. She could be making $2-3 million a year in that little banga business she's doing. But why is she doing that? Number one, she wants
the knowledge.
Yes, number one, the knowledge. Number two, if she wants to get the certificates and the licenses requirement, she will spend 2-3 years trying even just to get the license. And if she gets all of that, then you find the local councils, local governments, tax agencies disturbing them on a regular basis, which does not make sense. And yet we tell ourselves Nigeria is poor. We are not poor. We've misplaced our priorities. People like that need to be helped. We need to ensure that if you're getting your licenses, it should not be up to maximum a week.
Wow.
If these agencies need to employ more people, let them employ more people to get these applications done fast and quick, and let people know the right thing. Nigerians love to do the right things, but they don't know how to do it. That is their problem. They simply do not know. So teach the Bengali, the madam, for your palm oil, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. Come on NTA, tell people, teach them, this is how you're supposed to package, these are the health requirements and whatnot, and get rid of all these unnecessary taxes. A woman trying to borrow in 2 million naira to start a business, she'll be paying God knows how much for this, that, and that, and they're endless.
So still talking about, the government, how can the Nigerian government support the local industries, the right way, so that they can take these things out?
To support the local industry, first of all, what I would say is this. It may sound strange, but I would say get out of the way of these exporters. Just get out of their way. Let them do their business. And what do I mean by get out of their way?
Can they handle it themselves?
They can. Because see, the role of government in export is two things. One is promotion. Two is ensuring that what you're offering the world has the quality. That's the role of government in any advanced nation. Not unnecessary taxation, unnecessary licensing and stress. See, people don't mind paying taxes or paying they will do it. But please keep the time frame as short as possible. Don't put unnecessary requirements there. If you want to get NAFTA, it is hectic. It is too hectic. Even for a big corporation like ours, you will sweat. But the truth is, advanced countries like India and other places, you can do it in 2-3 days. Before you even start the process, there's an education process. Say, see, madam, if you're starting banga production or cashew export, these are the rules. Don't use plastic, use stainless steel, this. So he knows already before he even starts. So
it makes this faster and easier.
Thank you. From the beginning, he's done the right thing. So government only comes to monitor, please make these changes and what, and within a few days, you're done. And another thing is on the part of the actual export. Do you know how much you would have to, shall I say, how long you have to spend trying to export from Nigerian ports? If you produce from Abuja here now and I want to export to France, or let's say to China by sea, the container gets to Lagos and then the documentation problem starts. Paperwork. As a result, we cannot compete in certain industry like fresh produce.
No,
you spend 2-3 weeks gathering paper at the port whilst your goods are in the container cooking away.
Yes.
So the government needs to, like I said, get out of the people's way, ensure you teach them the right things to do from the beginning, and then let them run. And to the second part is export promotion. This is where I often have issues with so many agencies I won't mention where. Because, see, export promotion, government has a lot to do in terms of promoting the country. Let people know what you have as a nation. In Nigeria of today, an average producer is not being marketed abroad by our agencies or by the government.
Okay.
They don't have that leverage. I'll give an example. I use myself as an example. 2008, I had a business in New Zealand. And after registering, you get so much support from the New Zealand government in such a way that they will email you almost every week. Say, see, this product you're manufacturing, we have this promotion event going on and so on and so on. So please join this group.
Just to add knowledge to what you're doing.
And even now that the business is closed, because obviously I'm not in New Zealand anymore, I still get alerts. Say, hey, that business you registered 2008, there's a requirement for it here and there. We are going on a trip. Come, let's go. And this is where our embassies come into play. And this is something I have personally advocated for. I've written to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Trade Department, Ministry of Industry, say, guys, our embassies are not there only to issue visas. You are supposed to represent the nation in terms of trade.
Okay.
You should have trade promotions whereby the trade officer, the desk officer in the embassy organizes regular visits to potential buyers of Nigerian products. Let us take Middle East for example.
If you would like to go on a short break because there's so much to talk about.
Exactly.
So let's go on that short break, and we'll be looking at restructuring the Nigerian export value chain with our very own engineer Abayomi Onasonya. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back.
It is better for you to stay in your classroom even if you are poor.
Welcome back from that quick break. I will be looking at restructuring the Nigerian export value chain, and I still have engineer Abayomi Onasonya. Sir, it's not easy.
It's not.
But so let's look at, talking about the Nigerian and how the Nigerian government, how they can support. But what are the challenges they've been facing?
Well, you mean challenges on the government side or on the exporter side?
I'm talking about the government in exporting, the Nigerian export value chain.
Well, the challenge the government is facing, I'll be blunt about it, is competence.
Okay.
When I say competence, see, export promotion is a lifeline of a nation. And trust me, a nation like Nigeria, we're facing this economic crisis as we speak because we're not exporting enough. Imagine if you are earning double of your salary. Think about that for a minute. Imagine you're earning 10 times of your salary. Would you feel the pinch in the petrol increase? No. Or the cameraman is earning times 5 of his salary. Why? Because he is an exporter. And what does that mean? You are getting foreign currency. Imagine Nigeria earning 500 billion instead of 69 billion. That means, exactly, we're creating a lot of jobs. We'll be bringing workers in to do some of the dirty processing work. So the point is competence in the sense that we need to put qualified people in this area, because for you to be able to sell what you have to the world is not easy.
Yeah.
You need to be a good salesperson. You need to have that passion. I always tell people that, I was joking with a couple of friends. I said, let's assume that I'm told that, what are you going to do to change Nigeria? I said, sir, I will tell Mr. President, I said, sir, give me all the tools I need and I'll bring you 500 billion every year. The guy was like, ha, ha, ha. He said, no, I'm not going to bring you from my pocket, from what we have already. Because it is doable. You see? And you need people who know what it takes to be able to sell internationally. When I say internationally, like if I go meet, let's say, a potential cashew buyer now, if I go to the States, I will say, listen, I'm from Nigeria, we have cashew, this is the quality, these are samples. There are certain things you would do to woo that person. Give them samples, and if they taste, whoa, Nigerian cashew is actually good. And before you know it, they start ordering from Nigeria. They start buying finished cashew from Nigeria, putting it in Walmart and other supermarkets around the world. So competence is a key thing. Don't put someone who does not have that experience, that sales, marketing experience, in a position where he or she has to face potential buyers. Look at Mr. President. See, that's why I appreciate him. He went to India recently and he brought in deals worth billions of dollars. That's what our export promotion should be. We should literally be hunting around the world for people to buy what we have. Not sitting down, pull up a website and say, if you want to buy, go and click on website and fill it form. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
You need trade officers. That's why the foreign ministry comes into play. All our embassies, we have massive embassies around the world. And we're paying God knows how many millions to service those embassies. We need commercial desk officers who will woo potential buyers. If let's say I'm posted, for example, let's say I'm a diplomat in the commercial desk in Dubai, for example. What I'll do is very simple. I'll go to those food companies who use cashew for their products, and I'll say this for their produce. I say, see, I'm a diplomat. Why don't you buy from Nigeria? Why don't I organize trade talks between farmers and SMEs in Nigeria? If I come to Nigeria, so I will woo you every day. Until you start buying from me. I'll leave cashew, I'll go to cocoa. I'll leave cocoa, I'll go to cassava. Leave cassava, I'll go to all the sectors. We need to be proactive. We need to move. We cannot sit back and always blame the government. Government has done enough, trust me.
We need people like you.
Myself into 2 million places.
So are there opportunities for the public-private partnership to drive the restructuring of the export value chain?
Absolutely, there are. In fact, that's why I came back to Nigeria. That's the truth. Staying abroad for 20 years and seeing all these things go down. I've been opportunity to travel several nations on the planet as an entrepreneur and in different positions. And I'm often faced with this dilemma. They say, where are you from? Nigeria. Oh, I heard you guys have some of the nicest cashews. Yes, we do. But can you please send some to me? You go to another place. You guys have cocoa, right? They say, yes, we have cocoa. But how come we're not having your cocoa? So the truth is, there's a demand. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And the partnership has to come in such a way that the private sector will assist government agencies in doing all this trade promotion and helping them understand where the opportunities are. In Nigeria, our trade partners, there are not more than 10. When I say 10, the big ones. Oil and gas, you're looking at Europe and America. Food products, you're looking at China, Vietnam, India. Why are we not looking at the Middle East? Why are we not looking at Japan? Why are we not looking at different regions? Australia. And we have sectors we've not even developed. Our goat meat, which they call Chivon, is the best on the planet in terms of the quality. Goat meat that you and I can do in our backyards. But in Africa, only Namibia is doing that. Why aren't we exporting goat meat? Why? Because the ministry or whatever is in charge has not seen it like, goat. So we bring that knowledge. Say, see.
As you mentioned earlier, the paperwork.
Exactly.
The goat meat is cooking.
It's cooking in the container.
So it's not possible.
That's the point. So we will now come in and say, see, government, fine. You've tried your best. You help us on the policy promotion side. Okay, let us work in partnership with the foreign ministry. We'll go together and go on trade missions. We will show you this guy buys 1 billion worth of meat. Oh yeah, go talk to him. This guy buys 2 billion of cashew. Go talk to him. You see, we open their eyes to see this and help them with the regulation to the quality standards. Wow. Because the Middle East import, they love our meat. There was a time in Bochi, the Bochi meat factory used to export sausages, corned beef to Saudi Arabia in the 60s and 70s. That factory is dead now. Why? Because for some reason we stopped regulating that industry. We stopped the private sector partnership part of the deal. So we are here to help the government. Let us feed Nigeria. We can make money. We don't have to struggle. We're a blessed nation. Let's do it.
I know we can talk because there's so much to talk about.
There's a lot.
Looking at the export value change is something that the government should look into it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much for us to take out and make money. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Always good to have you here. It's quite hot. Very hot. Please, Nigerians, we can do this thing. We can take a lot of things out and, make a lot of money to help the country and the economy of this country. I've been speaking with Engineer Abayomi, Global Director, Africa House, and we'll be looking at restructuring the Nigerian export value chain. Up next is a feature on world suicide prevention. Please, it's not an option for you to take your life.